Ryan Foster checked his reflection one more time in the car mirror, straightening his collar. First date in 4 years. His hands were actually shaking. At 34, he felt like a teenager again, nervous, hopeful, terrified of screwing this up. His daughter, Emma, had been thrilled when he'd finally agreed to try dating again. "Daddy, you need a friend who's a grown-up," the 6-year-old had declared with the confidence only children possess. His sister had set him up with someone from her book club, a woman named Nicole who was smart, funny, and ready to meet someone genuine. The restaurant was nice but not intimidating, a family-friendly Italian place with checkered tablecloths and the smell of fresh bread. Ryan had specifically chosen somewhere casual, somewhere that felt safe for easing back into the dating world. He spotted Nicole immediately. She matched her profile picture, auburn hair pulled back, wearing a green sweater. She was pretty, but what caught his attention was the little girl beside her, maybe 5 years old, with the same auburn hair and pigtails, wearing a purple dress and clutching a stuffed unicorn. Ryan's stomach dropped. His sister hadn't mentioned Nicole had a kid. More importantly, she hadn't mentioned Nicole would bring her kid to their first date. As Ryan approached, he saw Nicole's face. She looked mortified, stressed, apologetic all at once. "Ryan? Hi, I'm so sorry." Nicole started talking before he'd even sat down. "My babysitter canceled last minute. Like 30 minutes ago. Food poisoning. I tried to reschedule, but I couldn't reach you, and I thought about just not showing up, but that's so rude, and—" She was spiraling, words tumbling out. "I'm so sorry. We can just call this off. I understand completely if you want to leave." The little girl was watching Ryan with huge brown eyes, clearly picking up on her mother's anxiety. She held her unicorn tighter. Ryan looked at this woman who was clearly a good mother, stressed about disappointing him, but more stressed about her daughter's comfort. He looked at the little girl who hadn't asked to be part of this awkward situation, and he thought about Emma at home with his sister, probably playing dress-up and having a blast. He smiled and sat down. "Hi, Nicole. And who's this?" "I'm Zoe," the little girl said quietly. "I'm 4 3/4. This is Mr. Sparkles." She held up the unicorn. "Nice to meet you both." Ryan extended his hand to Zoe, who shook it very seriously. "Mr. Sparkles is an excellent name for a unicorn." "You're not leaving?" Nicole asked, disbelief in her voice. "Why would I leave? Your babysitter got sick. That's not your fault." Ryan opened his menu. "Although I should warn you, I have a 6-year-old daughter named Emma who would be very jealous of Mr. Sparkles. She's been asking for a unicorn for months." "You have a daughter?" Nicole's shoulders relaxed slightly. "Yeah, she's with my sister tonight. My wife died when Emma was 2. Car accident. So it's been just us two for a while now." Ryan said it matter-of-factly, the way he'd learned to over the years. "What about you?" "Divorced? Zoe's dad left when she was 1. Hasn't been in the picture since." Nicole's voice carried old hurt. "Most guys run when they find out I have a kid, or when they meet her and realize single mom means the kid comes first." "Then they're idiots," Ryan said simply. "Kids should come first. That's called being a decent parent." Something shifted in Nicole's expression. Relief, hope, maybe the beginning of trust. The waiter came, and Ryan asked Zoe what she liked to eat. "Spaghetti! With the red sauce, not the white sauce, because white sauce is yucky." "I agree completely," Ryan said seriously. "White sauce is highly suspicious. We'll get you the red sauce spaghetti. And garlic bread?" Zoe nodded enthusiastically. Dinner turned out to be nothing like Ryan had planned, and somehow better. Zoe was shy at first, but gradually warmed up, telling him about her preschool, her best friend Mia, and the elaborate backstory she'd created for Mr. Sparkles. He was a prince cursed into unicorn form, obviously. Ryan found himself genuinely engaged, asking questions, listening to her 4-year-old logic, watching Nicole's amazement that he was actually interested in her daughter. "Most guys just ignore her," Nicole admitted quietly while Zoe was coloring on the kids' menu. Or they're overly nice in a fake way, trying to impress me. You're just talking to her like she's a person. She is a person. A small person with strong opinions about pasta sauce, but still a person. Ryan smiled. Emma's the same way. Kids know when you're being fake. They appreciate real conversation, even if it's about cartoon characters or why dogs can't talk. Do you think dogs want to talk? Zoe asked, clearly having heard the word dog. I think my dog definitely wants to tell me I'm feeding her dinner too late every single night, Ryan said. Her name is Biscuit, and she's very dramatic about meal times. You have a dog? Zoe's eyes went huge. Mommy, he has a dog! I heard, sweetheart. Can I meet Biscuit? Zoe, that's not... Nicole started, embarrassed. Maybe someday, Ryan said easily. If your mom and I decide to hang out again, and if Emma agrees to share Biscuit, which isn't guaranteed, she's pretty possessive of that dog. After dinner, walking to their cars, Nicole finally exhaled fully. Thank you, really. Most guys would have bolted the second they saw I brought Zoe. Their loss. Ryan knelt down to Zoe's level. Thanks for sharing your dinner conversation with me, Zoe. Mr. Sparkles is lucky to have you. Maybe next time you can bring Emma and Biscuit? Zoe asked hopefully. Zoe, we don't invite ourselves, Nicole started. Actually, that's not a bad idea, Ryan interrupted. If you're interested, there's a dog park near my place. Emma and Zoe could play, Biscuit could show off her fetching skills, and we could actually talk without worrying about the kids being bored. More casual, less pressure. Nicole looked at him like he'd just offered her the moon. You want to see us again, even after this disaster of a first date? This wasn't a disaster, it was real. Ryan stood. You're a good mom who prioritizes her kid. I'm a single dad who gets it. And honestly, I had more fun tonight talking about unicorn lore and suspicious white sauce than I've had on any perfect date. Are you sure? Nicole, I spent 4 years avoiding dating because I was terrified of finding someone who couldn't accept that Emma comes first. You literally brought your daughter to our first date because you couldn't find childcare. You showed me exactly who you are. A mom who doesn't pretend her kid doesn't exist for the sake of romance. That's not a red flag. That's exactly what I was hoping to find. 2 weeks later, Ryan, Emma, Nicole, and Zoe met at the dog park. Biscuit was in heaven with 2 children to throw her ball. Emma and Zoe bonded instantly over their shared love of unicorns, dogs, and the color purple. They're like instant best friends, Nicole marveled, watching the girls giggle as Biscuit licked their faces. Kids are good at that. No pretense, no games. They just decide they like each other and that's it. Ryan threw the ball for Biscuit. We could learn something from that. Are we deciding we like each other? Nicole asked, a hint of flirtation in her voice. I decided that when you walked into the restaurant with Zoe and looked terrified, I'd leave. You chose your kid over impressing a stranger. That told me everything I needed to know about your character. Nicole moved closer. And when you sat down anyway and asked Zoe about her unicorn instead of making excuses to leave, that told me everything about yours. 6 months later, the 4 of them were inseparable. Emma and Zoe called themselves sisters, planning sleepovers and elaborate games. Ryan and Nicole had navigated the complicated dance of blending families with patience and care, always putting the girls first. You know what's funny? Nicole said one evening, watching the girls play while Biscuit supervised. If my babysitter hadn't canceled that night, we probably would have had a perfectly nice, perfectly boring first date. Probably wouldn't have gone anywhere. But she did cancel, and you brought Zoe, and I got to see the real you right away, Ryan finished. No pretense, no 6-month wait to meet each other's kids, just immediate, messy, honest reality. Most guys would have run. I'm not most guys. I'm a single dad who understands that kids aren't baggage. They're the whole point. Finding someone who gets that, who lives that, who would bring her daughter to a first date because she refuses to make her kid feel like an inconvenience? Ryan pulled Nicole close. That's not a deal breaker. That's exactly what I was looking for. A year after that disastrous perfect first date, Ryan proposed at the same Italian restaurant. Emma and Zoe were in on it, wearing matching purple dresses and holding a sign. Will you marry our dad, Mom? Nicole cried. Zoe cheered. Emma made sure everyone saw Mr. Sparkles was there to witness it. The restaurant staff applauded, and the manager comped their meal. For the couple who proved that the best love stories start with chaos and kids and not running away. Later, Nicole asked him, "When did you know? When did you decide I was worth it?" "The second you walked in with Zoe," Ryan said without hesitation. "When you were apologizing for bringing her, looking terrified I'd judge you for being a mom first and a date second. That's when I knew you were exactly the kind of person I wanted in my life." "Because I brought my kid to a first date?" "Because you brought your kid to a first date and felt bad about it, even though you shouldn't have. Because you showed me who you really are, priorities intact, no apologies needed." Ryan kissed her forehead. "Most people spend months hiding their real selves, trying to be perfect. You gave me honesty from day one. That's rare. That's valuable. That's exactly what I needed." Nicole looked at their daughters, playing with Mr. Sparkles, Biscuit beside them, already a family in every way that mattered. "The babysitter canceling was the best thing that could have happened. Or maybe it was fate," Ryan suggested. "The universe making sure we didn't waste time on pretense, making sure I saw you as you really are. An incredible mother raising an amazing kid. Making sure you saw I wouldn't run when things got real." "You didn't run. I sat down, I ordered pasta with very specific sauce requirements, and I fell in love with both of you before the breadsticks arrived." "That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me." "It's the truth." Ryan pulled her close. The single dad's reaction changed everything because he realized that this chaos, kids, stuffed unicorns, and all, this was exactly what he'd been missing. This was home. And it was because sometimes a canceled babysitter leads to the most honest first date of your life. Sometimes bringing your 4-year-old daughter to meet a stranger turns out to be the bravest, most authentic thing you could do. Sometimes the guy who stays, who sits down, who asks about Mr. Sparkles, he's the one worth keeping. The single dad's reaction changed everything. He didn't run. He didn't judge. He just saw a good mother doing her best, and he chose to see that as strength, not inconvenience. And that changed everything for all of them.